If you are new to digital scrapbooking, you may want to start with a template like this. Any of the beginner CDs by Digital Scrapbook Memories have templates like this. They are completed layouts you can personalize by dragging in your own pictures and typing your own words. This layout may or may not be on the CD you are currently working on, but the steps you learn in this tutorial will teach you most of what you need to know to work with these templates. Before watching this video, you should have already watched the introduction video. If you haven't, I'd recommend watching that now. Notice the gray and white checkerboard on the layout. This indicates transparency. You can drag your personal photos into these spots. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this layout. I want to be able to start from scratch so you can see what's going on. First, I'm going to click File, then Open, then I'm going to find the layout. Now, it may be on my computer in your CD drive if you have the right CD in the CD drive. If it's not there, you need to put in the right CD, or you might have already saved it on your computer. That's what I've already done. I put mine in my documents, and then I created a new file called Scrapbook Papers. I'm going to click on the Flower Patch CD, which is the CD this layout is on. Then I'll click on the layouts and find the right layout. Here I'll click the thumbnails and I'll click on the right one. I'm working with Windows XP, so this part may be a little different than your computer, but the concept is the same. Once it comes up, the next thing I need to do is find my pictures. I'll find them the same way. File, Open, and then it just depends where you personally have your pictures saved on your computer. Mine are in my documents, my pictures. Go ahead and pick the one I want. Then once it's up on the screen, I can go ahead and make sure the Move tool is selected, click, and drag it over onto my layout. If you watch the introduction video, you know how easy it is to move your layers around. I'm going to go over to my layers palette and move my picture underneath this layout template. Just like that. Now my Move tool is still selected, so I can go ahead and move my picture up to where I want it to be. Now I happen to really like how that looks, but if I didn't, all I would have to do is take my Move tool, make sure the Show Bounding box is checked, or other versions of Photoshop might say Transform Controls or something just with bounding box or transform, something to that effect. Make sure that is checked. So again, it might be different in other versions, but I'm going to go down to the corner of my layout now, and you can see that bounding box there, or transform controls, and I'm going to go ahead and click once my arrow goes to a double arrow, and I can move it in or out as I like. I can also rotate it. Once it goes to the double curved arrow, you can click and rotate it the way you want as well. When I'm done, I need to make sure to click this Commit Current Operation check mark, or because not all versions have that check mark, press Enter. Every single version of Photoshop, you can press Enter and it will do the exact same thing. Make sure you don't forget to do that, because if you forget to do that, you will not be able to move on to any other steps. You have to set the transform by pressing Enter or finding that check mark, and once you do, you'll be able to move on to the next steps. Keep it in mind, sometimes it's really easy to accidentally start transforming something without even realizing you did anything, and then you're stuck trying to figure out how in the world to get past that step. So if you get stuck in Photoshop, maybe click Enter, or press Enter I should say, and see if that works, see if that frees up your screen. Okay, next I want you to hit this little icon here. It's the polygonal lasso tool. Now remember, your toolbox might look a little different, but the polygonal lasso will look the same. If you can't find it up on top on your toolbox, you might start right-clicking all of the tools until you see what's underneath them. Click on the polygonal lasso tool and then start clicking on your layout. Click, click, click. You want to just keep clicking until you have surrounded the part of the picture you don't want. double click at the end, and it will set your selection. Then all you have to do is press delete on your keyboard, and the part of the picture you don't want will go away. Now you have to remember to be on the right layer. If you're not on the right layer, it'll delete the wrong thing. So make sure you're on the right layer of the picture that you want to delete. To get rid of those marching ants, is what I call them, going around your page, we're going to go ahead and press select, deselect, and it gets rid of that selection. If that selection is still up, then that is the only part of the layout that you can work on for other steps. But since we've deselected it, we can move on and do whatever we want with the layout. Next, what you need to do is open up 2 more pictures, file, open, find the pictures you want. You're going to move them over using the move tool like we did, just the exact same way we did with this top picture. You're going to put it into the spot where you want it to be and then delete the outside portions, the unwanted portions of the picture, just the same way we did with this top picture. Never forget to keep your layers in mind. Layers are very important. If you can remember your layers, if you can remember to keep track of your layers, focus on where your pictures are in the layers palette, things will be very easy for you. Last, we're going to talk about the text tool. The text tool is down here in the toolbox. Everybody's toolbox, again, looks different, but the big T will be the same. You're going to click on that once, and then you're going to come over to your layout and click once, and then you can start typing. You can type anything you want and move around your text wherever you want. Now notice you can see my text some places, but not in other places. If you watched the layers tutorial, you should know this. Now somehow my layers got minimized down here. I'm going to go ahead and pull those back up and show you that my text layer is underneath my layout. So in order to see the text, I have to drag it up. This is a very common mistake that happens, so make sure you keep that in mind. When you can't see something you know you drug over or you knew you typed something, just go ahead, look in the layers palette, and you'll figure it out. If you double click on this T in the layers palette, you can select your text, and then if you go up to your options bar, remember your options change depending on which tool you have. If you go up to the options bar, you can change the size, you can change the font, and you can change the color. Now make sure you remember, as you get started with digital scrapbooking, it's going to take a while to get the hang of this. However, the layouts that take you quite a while now will only take you a few minutes down the road. But you do want to set aside a couple hours to really figure this out. And once you've done that and played with it, you're going to become quicker and quicker and get a lot of scrapbooking done. Have fun!